Hello everyone, my name is Annabella and this is Bella's Jewelry. Basically I'm just doing a tutorial of an easy paracord bracelet for men or women or child. I find it to be a very easy project to do, also profitable since the materials are fairly common and affordable. So if you guys want to bear with me, this is my first video. So I hope I can get this right for you guys and you can get an understanding on how to make this bracelet. It is, like I said, super easy. I have made one for every member of my family so far, and they love them. I find them to be a little adorable, so it is almost like childproof. But anyway, what I've done, or I've pre-done, is I've cut my cord. This is going to be the wrapping cord. I've given myself a good 60 inches. You might have a little tiny bit left over, but I always say it's better to have a little left over than get into the end of your work and unfortunately not being able to finish it. So again, this is going to be my long wrapping cord. And this is a pretty good looking pattern. I do enjoy it a lot. It's a little specks of green and black and a little bit of brown, almost like an army looking type of bracelet. That's what we're going to be making today. I have also gotten some love knots or screw knots. These are zinc and they're 10, number 10 and 32. So they're just little tiny love knots. And then I'm going to be using black as my base. This is going to be about 18 inches long. What I do is I have my cord, as you can tell, but what I do is I've purchased this board, and it came out pretty handy because it had a little circular hanging device on it. So it works perfect for me because I don't need anyone to help me hold these things or use tape or anything like that. So what I do is I take it and I wrap it. I give myself a good, I don't know, I would say about 6 inches just so that I have enough at the end and I don't have to like scrape for more. And what I do is I just wrap it around and I tie it into the little circle. Now you want to kind of keep it a little tight so it doesn't move on you. And what I do is I don't cut my cord. I just wrap it around the board, as you can see, and I put it here. This way it kind of keeps it tight on me and I don't have to worry about not having enough in the end. So this is the first step. You tie your cord and then you have your materials here, which you will need 5. I usually use 5. I mean, this is optional. You can either just make it plain or add this, or if you have beads that you can string into your cord, your primary cord, then that would be fine. I kind of like this look. I think it's a manly look. So you will need these. I do have pliers just in case I do need the little extra pull. This can have some wear and tear on your fingers. And I'm sorry, no manicures here. And you will be needing a lighter and a piece of straw. You guys will not believe how easy this will make your life when you have to make a sliding nut. And I will be happy to show you how to do that in the end. So we'll put these things right in here. And you will need a pair of scissors, just regular, scissors. And now we're ready to begin. So you take your longer cord, which is going to be your wrapping cord, and you double it. You get to the end because you want to have the same measurement. And what you do is you feed it into the main line here, as you can see. And what we're going to do now is just a simple basic knot. So you take your cord and you make your knot. And at this point, you do want to make it the tightest you possibly can, and this is where the wear and tear comes on your own fingers. But just pull as hard as you can, and here we go. Now you can adjust it at this point, and I suggest you do that. Later on, it will become, as you start making your bracelet, it basically just doesn't move anymore. So make it really tight. Now what we're going to do is you're going to have both ends here, and what you want to do is loop your first one right on top. Basically, you're just going to make like a half a circle, and then you're going to bring it under the other side. So you push it to the side so you don't get confused, and you go ahead and you grab your other end, and you're going to go under and over. And that's going to create almost like a little box. And then you're just going to pull it. Pull it as tight as you can once again. There we go. You always have to try to keep the same type of tension so that it, the squares look unified. And then you're going to take the other side now, and you're going to loop it the other way. You're going to bring the other cord over, as you can see, and then you're going to grab your end and you're going to feed it through underneath, and it comes out the other way. And now once again, you just pull it through. Now we're going to do this action for about 4 turns. So now you're going to take it again, go over and under. And once again, put a little bit of tension in so that they look uniform or unicized. And then once again, I'm going to go over, under, and pull. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one more. I like to have about 4 count on top. And it is pretty visible. I mean, you can count them as you go along. If you wanted to just keep making it plain, you could just keep going all the way until you run out of your material. I'm going to be using the love nuts, so I will show you how I do that. Okay, so now we have the beginning of our bracelet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. Now what I did not do before, like I said, because this is entirely up to you and it is your choice whether you want to add the love nuts or not, I will take my black cord once again, and I did not cut it, so maybe you want to try to do this if you're thinking ahead and you want to do the love nuts. I would just put them in right before you start tying everything into your board. So this can be a little difficult, but you are more than welcome to just burn the tip a little bit and just be careful, because of course this gets hot and it melts and you will get blisters. I've gotten several. And you just want to pull it a little bit, because the paracord is kind of plasticky. You're able to melt it and then kind of mold it into a tip, and now you're able to put your nuts in. Oops, sorry about that. And here we go. This is our number 2. Oh, giving me a little bit of a hard time here. Taking advantage that my 3 children are in school at the moment, So I have the whole house to myself. And my dog is a very good dog, and he does not bark or make noise. So here we go. I'm going to pull it through. I do have to go under at this point because I have to bring it up. And my love knots are coming. There we go. Now just bring your cord back down and go around. And now we got situated again. And I do apologize. Like I said, this is my first video, so here we go. Now you have your 5. It can be beads, it could be the love knots. I do use the gold colored ones and these silver ones. So what you want to do now is you want to push one in, and we're going to go ahead and lock it in. And I do about 2 turns just to ensure that they do stay in. And again, put a bit of tension. And there we go. And now you want to bring it around again and go under. And in no time, this bracelet is really done. I mean, I usually make about 8 in the day. Like I said, I do take advantage that my 3 children are in school. Oh, oops. I did not make my 2 turns. I apologize for that. And now we're going to go ahead and come in here once again. And now we have our love knot pretty locked in. Now you want to bring in the second one. And we're going to repeat the same process. Go loop, over, under. And again, go loop, over, and under. And that's basically the look of your bracelet. And now you want to go one more time. Over and under. And you want to bring one more up. I hope you guys can see this clearly. We're going to make the loop, go over and under. Loop, over, under. And bring another one up. And we're almost done, believe it or not. Like I said, this is a fairly quick bracelet, and it is profitable in the sense that the materials are fairly cheap. Of course, you have your labor of love, I guess. So I guess you can decide what kind of price you think you can add to that. And here we go. And now we're going to add our last one. And we're going to go loop, over, under. So now we locked in the last one. And what you want to do now is give yourself the same amount that you did in the beginning. So we made 4 visible loops on the top. And you will be able to count them as you go along. But we have 1. Now we go under, and we're going to bring it up. And again, try to keep always the same tension. Pardon me. And go over, under. Here we go. And I promise you, this bracelet looks amazing, especially if you have a manly man who's always into tools and has these thick arms. I know I love seeing this bracelet on my husband. And I'm sure your husband's boyfriend's love interest, children. Whomever you make this for is going to absolutely love it. So again, now it's starting to get a little harder because we're running out of the material. But all we need is just one more turn and we will be completed. So now remember I asked you about the pliers, or that you should have pliers handy. This is the reason why. Now I did burn the tips because they do become undone a little bit, but apparently I did not burn enough on this side. So as you can see, it has become exposed, and this is why I say give yourself a little more room. I usually do the measurement between the tip of my finger, my middle finger, all the way to my shoulder, and that's the measurement for my material that I use for the actual building of the bracelet. So you want to use your pliers and just bring it up. And now at this point, you're going to want to make it as tight as you can because it has to end like this. So I usually put my pliers in and I grab a hold of it and then I pull. And sometimes it does do that. So you have to put a lot of tension in it and just pull. And at this point, we have completed our bracelet as far as building it. Of course, we still have to finish it. And what I do now is I untie up here. And again, you can use your pliers too, just for those people that don't have nails like me. Unfortunately, I'm not able to grow my own nails because they're very thin and they do break extremely easily. But basically, you just take this off now. And what you want to do is give yourself the same amount that you have on this end that you began with. And you're going to want to, what you're going to want to do now is you want to bend your bracelet this way, okay? And you're going to measure out your black baseline cord. And at this point, you're going to make a cut. My suggestion is that you do burn it right away. So I'm going to be burning it to prevent it from unraveling inside. And what you also want to do is your leftover, your material to make other future bracelets, do the same thing because believe it or not, it is so easy to lose it. So there, now it's ready for my next use. And now we push it to the side just so that we can have a little more workspace here. Okay, so now we have our bracelet. And what you're going to want to do is, once again, pull it as taut as you can. Okay, it's not going anywhere. And what you want to do now is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to snip off. I wouldn't say get as close as possible because, again, you have to give yourself room from any mistakes. And then you're going to want to cut the other side too. And at this point, your lighter will be your best friend. So this is all we wasted, basically. It's not a lot, but if obviously you can measure up better and save some on that, you can. So you're going to take your lighter and you're going to burn. I'm going to flip this over because this is my burning station now. As you can tell, I have quite a few burning stations there. And what you want to do is you want to melt it as much as you can. Always being careful that you're not getting into the actual bracelet at this point. And what I do is I use my board instead of my fingers and I just go under. And you might have to do this a few times just to get it up to the point that you want it. You do kind of use your fingers and feel for it. Make sure there's no hard plastic little corners that can dig into somebody's skin or hurt someone. But at this point you can see I've burnt it and I've tucked it under because this is the inside part. You want to give it a nice look. You don't want to have like a big burnt end to it. So now we're going to do the other side. I hope you all can see this. And again, you're going to burn it. And use your board. I think that looks pretty good. You guys can be the judge of that. Just want to clean it up a little bit. Okay, here we go. So we're all done in this. At this point, this bracelet is pretty much complete. The only thing now is deciding whether you want a sliding knot or whichever one is your preference as far as the closure. What I do now is I do make my end nuts and do not tighten them yet at this point. This is just so that you do not get confused when you are making your closure. So run your fingers through, just give it a temporary knot because you're going to then decide where you want these permanently. I do this so that you can understand as far as what is the easiest. Well, this is what works for me. It might not be the easiest for you, but so now you have to decide whether you want to use the black material that we started with, or you want to do a finish with this type. I do like the look of this type. It makes the bracelet look a little fancier, I guess. So I'm going to be taking, I don't know, a good, let me see, I'm gonna say maybe the size of my board, which would be about 8 inches or so. And you're going to want to snip a piece of it. Again, burn it so that you don't lose it or waste when it comes down to you having to use this again. So that's going to go over there for later. And now I'm going to burn this end so it doesn't unravel on me. Okay. So the straw. This is one little piece of straw, and I do use the wide mouth straw. It will be so much easier if you can find one of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up this way, okay, one above the other, and it has the little knots there so that it doesn't escape you. And what you want to do is put it on the inside. Okay, now you're going to take this end and just hold it along. It does become a little hard as far as like holding things together, but you will get the hang of it. I had to get the hang of it by trial and error. So what you do is now you've got it inside by the straw, you're going to wrap everything around and you're going to go over to the side. And this is optional. Again, you can do 3, you can do 4, you can do 6. I like the manly look, so I wrap as much as I can. So I'm going to give this one a, let me see, 4. And what you're going to want to do now is, if you can see, you're going to take your end and put it inside the straw. Now as you're pulling it, you pushed it in, now you're going to push this out, and it almost works like a tweezer. That's the way I look at it. When you do this and now you pull this out, now you have your end here. So what you've created was almost like a little barrel, if you can see. And now you want to turn it a little bit, adjust them so that they look pretty or appealing to you. And you're going to go out and grab both ends and just pull. And then again, adjust a little bit. At this point, you want to make it tight. So you just pull it and pull it again. And I do tend to use my pliers in here. I'm not going to kid you guys. I have gotten some severe blisters from all the friction of having to pull and run my fingers through it. It does get a little hot. And it will be, you know, if you have sensitive skin. So at this point, I think we are perfect. Now what you want to do is you want to test out that you are able to slide both ends of your bracelet. As you can see, it works perfectly, beautifully. And at this point, we're pretty much almost done. And when I say almost done, is because we still have to take care of these ends. So what you want to do at this point is pull everything as much as you can out of the way. And we're going to be snipping our excess. So we're going to cut it just about, I would say here. Okay, so you want to give yourself a little room. And then you're going to grab your lighter. And again, we're going to be burning. Some people like to flatten it. I've noticed that if I burn it evenly enough, it almost looks like a bead. And I do like that look. I don't know if you guys can see or appreciate what it looks like, but I do like it. So I prefer to leave it this way. You can, in fact, melt it and just cinch it a little bit into your wood surface or whatever surface you're using, and it does become like a flat. I just like the bead look. And all my bracelets have this. I call this my trademark. So this part is just about done. As you can see, it is a little hot and it is still possibly going to get ruined if you hit it with anything. So I try to avoid touching it for a little bit. But again, we have to finish this bracelet for time's sake for you guys. And what you want to do now is pull everything out of the way on the other side. And we're going to be cutting this other end. And again, we're going to burn this side. And that looks just about the same as the other side. And let me just take everything out of the way. So that's pretty much the finished closure. And now what you have to decide is where you want to place these. So what I do is I measure my bracelet by folding it. And you're going to pull on your closure. Here. And what you want to do is try to put your hand through it. And of course, my hand is pretty small. But give yourself enough room, you know, if you're making this for a man, obviously. So give yourself a little more room. And again, measure it one more time. Make sure that it's nice and even. Okay? It's not going anywhere. There we go. I think this is a good size for any man. Okay, so it goes in pretty easy on your wrist. And don't forget that it is adjustable. So it really is for small or big arms. Now at this point, I do want to move these. That's why I don't make them permanent. Just because, you know, once you have it on, you don't want all that excess hanging. So what I do now is I've given myself enough room inside. So I'm going to make the knot a little closer to the closure. I think this is about right. And you want to pull it taut now. And then we're going to do the same thing again, just readjust, make sure that you have the same on both sides, and undo this side again. Okay, at this point it looks pretty much the same to me on both sides. And we're going to lock it in. So now what we have left to do is to snip both ends. And you're going to burn them. And again, I do like to do my little bead look burning on it. So feel free to do whatever is best for you. If it's easier for you to just completely get rid of it, you can. I like to burn it, and as it burns, and what I like to do is I stand it up a little bit and I continue to let it melt. And this lighter has gotten a bit hot on me, so I will be using a different one. And if you can see, look, it turned out to be like a little bead at the end, which I think it gives it a nice look or finish to it. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And please do be careful if you do have children around. Children love to imitate what they see, so we don't want them playing with fire for sure. Okay, so at this point we have completed our bracelet. Feel free to fast forward. Like I said, this is my very first video, so okay, so here you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave me comments, and please subscribe and like my video, just as an incentive for me to know if I am doing the right thing and if people are interested in what I have to do. I don't just do paracord. I actually have a lot of jewelry that I have made throughout, my lifetime basically. So if you guys are interested in seeing more of these, and like I said, these come in different colors. You can make them all black, you can make them solid. I will show you an example of one that I did do yesterday. Pardon me for a second. And this is another example. I will come back and eventually show you how to do this one. This one was a little more effort, only because I don't find the cord that has both colors. So you kind of have to unite both colors together. So it consists of burning and putting together, and of course getting a couple of blisters on your fingers. But this is also a very pretty look, I think. And another example of just plain. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you so much. Like I said, please feel free to give me any comments. I hope you could hear me well. I hope you could see it well. And also let me know what kind of language you speak. I do speak 3 languages. I speak English, Portuguese, and Spanish. So I will be more than happy to try to accommodate my viewers. Thank you so much, and you guys have a blessed day.